This is a short video that will. Sophia and I are here to tell you how to start your micro essay and then to tell you how to work towards completion. So the first thing you're going to need is this micro essay handout that's in your notebook. You can hold this. It is double-sided, and the first side will have your thesis statement, and it will have your the first side will have your thesis statement, and Sophia is pointing to it at the top, followed by your topic sentence. And the topic sentence is really important. She's going to zoom in here. The topic sentence is right here, and it lets you know exactly how you're going to deal with royalty. So the thesis statement up here is about two poems and two authors. The thesis statement is about Amanda Gorman's poem and royalty's poem. And the topic sentence on this first side is just dealing with royalty. So whatever you said in your thesis statement, like if you said that he had a furious tone, then you would want to say something about how or why he has this furious tone in the second box in your topic sentence. And you would want to then say, expand on that. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So we're working with the front side. And after the topic sentence, you see a third box that says lead in to your quote. I say hold off on this until you found your evidence right here and until you've written your reasoning right here. Because this lead in introduces your quote, and you won't be able to introduce it until you've actually found a quote in this box. So Sophia's going to point to the quote box. You're looking for only under 10 words from your text to show and to prove what you're seeing in the second box and in your thesis. So we're going to dig into, and then finally you have, Sophia's going to show you the reasoning box, and that's the biggest box. So what you're going to do there, and she'll show you, she's going to flip over to the reasoning guide, which is the yellow page in your notebook. And she's going to zoom in on this. As you can see, there are 3 different sections in the reasoning guide. The first section is asking you to explain your quote, and the second one is asking you to expand, and the third is asking you to extend. You're going to choose 2 of these starters for each quote that you have. So you need 1 quote for royalty, and that goes in this box right here. Right here. And when you're ready to write the reasoning right here, you're going to go to here, the yellow, and you're going to choose 2 starters for each of the 3 questions for your royalty quote. And then on the back side of this essay map, you're going to do the very same thing here, but for Amanda Gorman. And instead of having a thesis statement at the top of the second side, you don't need it. You already had it on the first side. You're going to write a transition statement that introduces Amanda's poem. And whatever you said in your thesis statement, like if you said Amanda spoke with a hopeful tone, you then would need to deal with that in your topic sentence, which is the second box on Amanda's page. I know it's hard to see. So the next thing I want to show you, and thank you to Sophia, is the topic sentence frame. So the topic sentence, again, is your second box on both sides. And it is the box where you introduce your specific poem, right? And so here we have the letter to your flag poem. You need each of these 4 or 5 colors in your topic sentence. You can just copy this frame and plug in your particular information from your thesis. So it starts with, in letter to your flag, and that's in quotes because the title is in quotes, comma, royalty, everyone should have this green. So take a moment and make sure you have, in letter to your flag, royalty, in this second box right here on the first side. Okay, you can pause if you need to finish that green box language. So we're still working on this topic sentence. You next want to go to the signal verb page. So that is another yellow page in your notebook that looks like this. So you should have glued this in the other day. you need to take a signal verb from here that matches the same feeling or connotation. Remember, connotation is our word this year. It gives you a feeling of a word, right? Positive or negative connotation. You need to look through this signal list and you need to choose one verb that matches the same tone as royalty's tone in Letter to Your Flag. I think we can all agree by now that the tone that royalty uses is negative. So it has to match this negative. You have to find a negative verb on this signal verb list. And that's where this goes, right? Signal verb. Now let me just go through this for a second, because strong writing really depends on language and language choices. And it really depends on your verbs as well. That really livens up your writing. Instead of saying royalty observes or royalty explains, right? Those are all true. However, observe and explain are kind of neutral. They're kind of boring, right? Again, choose a verb that really has that same tone that royalty displays. For instance, these two words up at the top that begin with D, demonize and disparage, look those up, right? We know that DE words tend to be negative, destructive, desolate. Obviously, he's not going to have a word that's positive like flatter, right? He's not going to have a word like, you also don't want like calls attention to details, right? That's too boring. So choose a word. I know a lot of you are going with exposes, right? To expose something is to bring it out in the open. So that's the yellow section here. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and make sure you have a very strong signal verb that matches the same tone as your as royalty in this first paragraph. And you can pause the video here. Okay, so now we're going to get to universal idea in the purple. Every single topic sentence, just like a thesis, needs a universal idea. So as we're headed back into our essay map, right, you want to make sure that your second box right here contains a universal idea after the verb that you chose. All right, and if you're uncertain about universal ideas, go back to page 1 in your notebook for the universal idea list. The student has it well organized. And the universal idea list, these are just a small sample of universal ideas. A lot of you are going with universal ideas like racism and justice. It should be the same universal idea from the thesis, just drop down and maybe use as a synonym. So if it's injustice, you know, you can also use something like, so you might, if you have injustice as the universal idea in your thesis, you know, Google synonyms for injustice and have that same like word or the actual word from your thesis right here as the universal idea in your topic sentence. Then you want to add through, or you could add by, and you're showing how royalty speaks with a certain tone, okay? And then you're going to add the tone that you have from your thesis, and you're going to explain or add that tone word in red. And then you're going to have in order to. And then so finally, the in order to pushes you to say, why does royalty speak with this specific tone, right? So in fact, here is a sample of a topic sentence for royalty. In Letter to Your Flag, royalty berates, that's a signal verb, and it's negative. It matches royalty's tone. He berates, he strongly, aggressively criticizes. What does he criticize? The behavior of the police. And then this in order to is stuck in there, to extend, in order to demonstrate how racism, there's your universal idea from the thesis, just drop down. Racism separates people. It's a little bit different than this, but it is still good, right? So it's getting you to extend. So I do need to see a through or in order to. I need to see the tone. I need to see a universal idea and a signal verb and the title in quotes and royalty. All right, so After you've written your topic sentence in that second box, now you're going to skip the third box right now because you're going to wait to introduce the quote, right? You can't write the introduction or the lead into the quote until you actually have your quote. So you're going to take a moment to find evidence. About 6 words, right? Quote, you're going to pull it from the text, and that evidence should match the tone that you are describing, the universal idea you're describing, right? And take a moment to choose some evidence. This guide right here can help you with that. Think of just choosing a slice. I'm going to give you a minute to do that so you can pause this video. Okay, now that you've found your evidence, you're ready to write your reasoning. And a lot of students and a lot of adults struggle with how to find really good or come up with really good reasoning. Reasoning, as we know, connects the evidence to your topic sentence in that second box and also proves, right, your thesis. So in your reasoning, you should have like words or synonyms of your universal idea. So if my universal idea in my thesis and in my second box in my topic sentence is injustice, I should be seeing synonyms for injustice throughout your reasoning. I have a very specific way for you to write reasoning that is at the college level. As I tell my advanced placement students, they get similar guides like this in order to analyze text. The way we learn to write is through mimicry or imitation, where we are using stems until they are implanted in our brain so that we can do them without the stems in a few months. So you want to take 2 of these frames, like I said before, from each of the 3 sections. So you should have 6. If you can't do 2 for all of them, I'm definitely looking for no less than 4 frames for the royalty quote and 4 for the Amanda quote on the back side of this page. Okay. Oh, in your reasoning, make sure that you point to specific words from your quote. So really use this one specifically, the word phrase blank, and you're going to quote it, indicates or suggests. That's a strong verb instead of saying says, right? What does it indicate or suggest? This is a really powerful sentence extender, comma which, right? So what's the big deal about it suggesting? Like, what does it do when it suggests? Okay, so you're on your way. The next thing that you would do after writing your reasoning for royalty on the front is you would flip it over, write a transition phrase to show how it contrasts to Amanda Gorman right here, and then go ahead and write a topic sentence for Amanda Gorman's poem. Again, what I would do is go back to this video and pause it on this slide here, because that's really what you need for your topic sentence. All right, I hope that was helpful. And remember that this essay, this right here, is all you need for your essay. You're going to type every single word from this in this order to create your final essay that you will submit on Google Classroom. So I will have a Google Doc assigned to you that is a blank Google Doc, okay? And you're just going to write from here, all right? So if you don't take your notebook home, please take a picture of the front and back sides of this. We will have this due on Friday. We're going to do our typing in class, but if you aren't here, you need to have everything ready to go. This will be due Monday morning. When I say this, I mean this right here, okay, front and back for Royalty and Amanda, and what you've typed in on your Google Doc. Again, you're typing in word for word, so you don't have to rethink or rewrite when you type. You're just typing what you see here. This right here is 50 points, 50. I give you that 50 points when I collect your notebooks, and I'm collecting your notebooks next Thursday, which is also 50 points. So really, that's 100 points, right? Because it's this 2 sides plus your notebook. I will make another video for the notebook. The final written or the final typed essay is 50 points. So I will have a rubric But essentially, the essay map is the rubric. If you have all those pieces, right, you're looking at an A. All right, so just let me know if you have questions, and thank you for spending time learning about how to do college level writing.